Not a lot to report, as you can see. We haven't really moved very much here, and this is really sort of quite messy in here. That really reflects what's going on with the US dollar. So let's just go and have a little look at the US dollar, and also too with the speaking about the US, is that we got the Fed's meeting tomorrow, and I think that we'll need to simply wait until that announcement, and then wait for the dust to settle to pick up a trend. So with the US dollar index here, as you know, we've been looking at 1 and 2 here. We can look at it as 3 and 4 here and have a low in place with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ending in here as a wave 3 here and going up to wave 4. If that is indeed going to be the case, that's going to put a top in for the euro and put a top in for the DAX and so on. Markets don't top. Sometimes they top perfectly, but most of the time they're a bit sort of messy and can catch us out a little bit. I'm thinking that if the 102 here, the 102 becomes a nice tested support here, then we're on our way up here. If it fails to find support here, and it can trade above it, but finding support, it can do that. But finding, once they've got the first high above the level, then anything above that would be suffice to take us up higher. And if we do go up high, then we're going to see, well, most of the other markets move down at that point. So we've just got to kind of figure out, is wave 3, does it go here or does it go here? And do we have a triangle pattern in here for wave 4, an A, B, C, D, E pattern here, coming into E here, and then coming down and having this over here as such, moving down here further? Which would kind of make sense to me in a way, because when I look at this here, I haven't really, this is clean. We've got 1 and 2 here, and it's quite clean all the way up here. And yes, I can put wave 4 here, and we could put a truncated 5th wave in here, and we could do this, and we could do that. The truth is, I don't really know, and it's very messy, and it's not that sort of clear. As I've mentioned before, taking out some tops in here and pushing up is kind of what I would expect, but, is that going to happen? Well, I'm not quite sure. It's pretty tricky up here. So yeah, we can go and have a look at it. But at some point, the takeaway is that we can make another high. I would expect that. However, if the 102 on the US dollar index here makes support, then we're not going to see a move to the upside here. We're going to see this ABC to the downside here. Many markets around the world have this nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. It could be squeezed in because of a little situation in here. It could be squeezed in that we could have wave 1 here, and then we could have this as wave 1 as well. In both cases, we would end up with an ABC here, so we're not going to miss much. We'll just sort that out when we get there. But this 5 waves up here would coincide with the 5 waves we've had coming down through this space, from the top of the US dollar there. So they're all kind of mirroring each other in their opposites. We've been looking at this here on the 5,000 tick charts here as 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's quite nice. And then a bit of an extension up here, but nothing out of the ordinary here. I don't see any I don't see any problems with that being the 3rd wave and not sort of cramming a 5th wave in there or something. I can look at this. This is also a bit dodgy up here. Which one do we use? Which top do we use here? And is it truncated and so on? But an ABC with wave 4 here, we've had it as wave 1 and 2. We could look at it as 1 and 2 here. We could put this in over here as a B wave here and look at some WXY sort of pattern over here for this. Yeah, so there's a few things going on in all of this here. But I just think that we don't need to do anything. Once we, are coming up here, we could see it was weak. We know we're going into wave 4. We know wave 4s are complicated. We know they're messy. This is getting really messy because of the US dollar index, and it's showing. This is, this complexity is showing up in the euro US dollar and the pound and the Footsie and so on. Not so much the Footsie. The Footsie is a bit of a clean count, and we've got a bit of a wave 4 here for the Footsie, and then going higher up here. So I think we can go higher. coming in across the 15.2 here would be the go. Yeah, we've talked about being long above this high, and we could drop it down to this high. I don't want to drop it to this high in case there's a little spike up here, but nice clean classic trading levels pattern on this number here. That would see us up further up here. It doesn't have to be a big move up here, because when you think about it, the extension here is in the third wave. That leaves wave 1 here and wave 5 roughly the same height. So do we put a truncated 5th wave in here? I mean, all of those sorts of things, they're all part of the guessing game, and they're not strong enough to do anything with. So I still don't have any answers for the current situation. So let's just let the Feds have their meeting tomorrow. It'll get a bit spiky and gnarly, I guess, and once the dust settles, then we can get on with our job, and the markets will be, moving nicely at that point. So this is the Footsie here, and with the Footsie here, we've had this here as a wave A and a B and a C wave here. I didn't see sort of anything wrong with that, and then we looked up to this. Not a very nice wave 2, but kind of, I'll take that. And we talked about being long above here. I see this looks, what have we got here? It's a bit messy. So 1 and 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we could pretty much call that a 1 and 2 up there for the time being. So sort of a 1 and a 2 to come back in this space before sort of heading higher. Could it be anything else? Am I missing something here? Do we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ABC pattern here? If that's the case, then we better clear that out the way. And what we could do with this is put this on top here. That would suffice it at that point, just in case we do have a top in play there. This can also pull back into this space here, back into the 77.50 area here. So yeah, I mean, we don't really have that wave 4 sitting there just yet. I just want to have a look at something else. So we've got a nice wave 1 here. No, it's quite big, you know what I mean? So to have this as a wave 4 is good. I know it's taken its time a little bit, And here we can look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It all fits quite well. There's no surprises in here for any of this. So I'm still pretty comfortable. We're still looking for that wave 5 to the upside there. But, we have to be careful. Obviously, if I'm wrong, well, then the short trade is at this point, and we'll go down from there. So we can start to work in from this point. But yeah, I mean, it just looks like a 4th wave, and if this is going to go up, then you think the DAX and the euro and the euro stock, all of it would go to the upside. This is the euro dollar here, and once again, it's the same as the DAX. We can count 5 waves up. That's not an issue. Everything pretty much accounted for. I suppose we could look at this a little bit differently in here. We expected resistance up here for this. That would also be 50%, yeah. So we can definitely, the 50 and the 61.8%, we can definitely expect a dance. This is the closest, largest number, the 1.1, so we can expect to dance across that. And we're doing that, and I think we're on to the 2K tick here, or 5, I'll just check, I'm not really sure, can't remember. So yeah, look, this is just a bit of a guessing game as well here. We've got wave 3 and 4, just like the DXY here in reverse. We've got this 3 and 4 here. We've got a nice wave 1 coming down here. So we've got that nice wave 1 going up here, and then it just gets all crazy in here. So, well, not crazy, it just means that I'm probably just not doing my job right. But yeah, it is a little bit messy, and we can see that it's struggling. It's not going anywhere. It's sort of, it's got overlapping wave structures. It's struggling, but seriously, I don't know if we're going to get another push to the upside here. If that one 102 here becomes a support here, then that's going to go up, and then this is going to go down from here. You know, so we could be on a journey down here, but I don't have the 5 waves yet. If we overlap this top of this wave 1 here, which is a long way away, of course, from this, but obviously that would confirm that there's a top in place at that point. So, I mean, the other thing with this is that, let me just check on this here. We know that's wave 2. We could put that there as wave 3, and then we could put this over here, which makes that just a little bit higher. So we can look at that as a wave 3 and a wave 5 in there. That sort of suits, you know. There's probably a top in there, but it's not a very nice wave count coming in here, you know. That's the only problem. And then we don't really have a nice nice move down here either. There's also overlapping wave structure, so to count this as 5, sure, I can count it down as 1, 2, 3 here, and then 4 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then an ABC pattern here, and this is impulsive. Still probably a bit more to go on this, but what we need to be careful about is that this can, you know, it could catch us off guard with a move to the upside. So it'll just depend on, you know, how what happens with the Feds and those sort of things. So we could end up with, you know, a wave 4 over here as such. I really don't know. I don't have much at the moment to really, you know, nothing is clean and tidy at this point. But anyway, we're not missing anything, you know, we're not missing out on anything. It's not, this is not my fault, you know. So I just think we just have to, it's just one of those situations that we're stuck in, and we just have to, you know, some sort of consolidation in the uptrend, and it's, yeah, it could certainly go either way at this particular point. I mean, you certainly can go long above the B wave here. That's, you know, that's okay. But that would be the sign over there. But I think we could do better than that anyway, because if this still needs to come down to finish off here, and if it does come down and we can see that we've got an impulse wave here, well, then we can bring this down to this point at that time, you know, and that would trigger it in, because that would be at the 61.8%. So if it came back down and went up again, then we could go that way. So we could do that. We could also do the same with the low here once we got those 5 waves in. So, but the problem is the Fed's going to be speaking at 2:30, not tomorrow, today's Tuesday, isn't it? Wednesday, they're speaking. So, yeah, I don't think we're going to see much movement in any of the markets until after the Fed speaks, basically. So that's that. And the same for the, I'm just going to place this back here for a moment. So it's the same for the pound. We've got wave 4, nice wave 1, and then it gets a little messy here. So I'm pretty sure it's going to go up, because see here, we've got 5 waves here, and then we've got another move here. I suppose it could get a little 5th wave out of that, but I'd have to jam it in here. I think we're better off looking at this as, I mean, that looks like 3 waves, that looks like 3 waves. This is starting, not quite overlapping that, so it could push up from that point, but it's probably, because the Feds aren't speaking for another day, we're going to probably end up in a situation, just getting some perspective on this wave, something like this here, and then looking at this here as an A wave, a B wave, a C wave to come down here further, a D wave, and then an E wave here, and then push up to here to finish off, and then we come down, you know. It'd be something, I don't know, it'd be something like that, you know. I'm only guessing here, you know, we haven't made a clear top here. It doesn't look like this move is finished up here, all of that sort of thing, you know. So your analysis would be just as valid as mine at this point, I'm afraid. It's, you know, if I know, then that's helpful. If I don't know, then I'm just better off saying I don't know, and Houston, we've got a problem here that we need to resolve. This is the yen here as well. So the dollar yen, sorry, it's I haven't labelled it all, but you know, as I may have pointed out before, is that this move here is in 3 waves here. We could look at it as an A and a B and an A, B, C pattern here for this, but more likely that we'll look at this as a 3-wave move here. So we could look at that as an A wave here. So I've got this as a B wave here, and then 5 waves up to this point. So as long as that doesn't get taken out, then we can still, I suppose it could do really, this looks corrective. It still looks like we need to come down here further. This could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 here, an A and a B and a C for 2, and then roll down at that point. Whichever way you want to look at this, this is, you know, looking a little bit sort of, it just reminds me of being a corrective pattern. We should come down. So that means the US dollar should come down and all the other dudes go up, you know. So it's not that clear, but and maybe, you know, maybe we need to look at it as an A and a B and a C and a D and an E over here, and put it over, and put this over here, you know. So the reverse of, you know, same as the US dollar. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see that US dollar on 102. It can trade above it, but tested support's another question. Alrighty, I'm going to leave it at that. So yeah, I've been having trouble loading up to Vimeo. The Australian one's still coding, so I put it on YouTube. So I'll probably put this one on YouTube as well. Better to get it out there than not get it out there at all, I guess. So, but anyway, we're not missing much, but I want to tell you that you're not missing much. Alrighty, cheers.